thinking about the makeup, just Eddie Murphy plays a lot of characters I didn't know he played.
John Barman! Now that was a great boxer!
You damn right.
I suppose nobody in here ever heard of Cassius Clay.
We got a point. Cassius Clay was a bad motherfucker.
Hey, I ain't saying Clay ain't bad.
You're watching Drive-By Movies. My name is Blaise.
My name is James.
And never have I ever seen Coming to America.
When I look at these contestants for the Miss Black Awareness pageant, I feel good.
Apparently these are the best women Queens has to offer. Pick one and let's go home.
I want to tear you apart. And your friend too.
Coming to America.
Coming to America comes from 1988, is directed by John Landis, stars none other than Eddie Murphy and Arsenio Hall. It's about an extremely pampered African prince who travels to Queens, New York, in search of a wife that loves him for himself and not for his prince life. This is a movie I grew up with as a kid, but I watched the TV appropriate version. This is like I've probably seen the rated R version a couple of times, but I've definitely seen it more on TV where it's like definitely heavily edited. But watching it recently again to get ready for this episode, I was like, oh, this actually movie can get away with a PG-13 rating. There's just some nudity scenes and a couple F words, but other than that, the sequel, a lot of people are upset that the sequel got rated PG-13. But honestly, after seeing this, I feel like that's fine. That's a whole other subject, though. We're here to talk about what you thought about Coming to America. I'm glad that you wanted to watch it with the new one coming out. So what'd you think?
Yeah, we'll be watching the new film next week. I finally wanted to watch this all in one sitting. I'd seen multiple scenes. I'll probably seen the whole film all together, but just not at one viewing. So I finally went to check it out, one viewing, and I absolutely love this movie. I just thought it was such like a fun laugh and like a riot. Like I liked how the comedy, being that's from 88, wasn't paced as quickly as comedies nowadays. Even thinking to like a film we recently saw maybe a couple years ago, Blockers, which is its pacing was actually fairly slow for like a modern comedy, to where it's a little bit more enjoyable, where you can get invested in the characters if the jokes for a minute aren't, just nonstop. And I felt like Coming to America, there's a ton of jokes in this movie, but I did feel like the film got you very invested in Eddie Murphy's character, Arsenio, all the storylines going on, and also just really made you kind of fall in love with Eddie Murphy and the characters that he plays in this movie, being that this is one of those first movies where Eddie Murphy played multiple characters. And there was multiple times where I saw myself being like, wait, is that Eddie Murphy or is that Arsenio? When it's just some random weird character that looks like they may have makeup on. The makeup was excellent, and I really enjoyed this movie.
Yeah, thinking about the makeup, just Eddie Murphy plays a lot of characters I didn't know he played. Like I remember as a kid, I was always tripped out that he played the white gentleman with the fedora and stuff. But then seeing his name in the credits at the end of the movie, like that's Eddie Murphy and stuff. And also playing that singer on stage too. Like a lot of the prosthetics are like fantastic and like really great makeup and stuff used for this movie. And definitely it was like a great show reel for how like diverse and how crazy Eddie Murphy could get into his roles, and definitely like was that first step into him like playing multiple different roles with movies like granted like these movies are less well received, but like The Nutty Professor and the second one where he plays the whole family, and then also
Fatty's Fart 2
Norbit basically. I always forget about Fatty's Fart 2 starring Jack Black. But yeah, just like this movie, like I never like thought about it like as a kid and stuff. Like my only complaint watching it again, I'd say, is just how quickly they fall in love at the end of this movie. As a kid, like I was like, oh, this is so believable and stuff, and like but like they only go on like 1.5 kind of dates, and then they're like all of a sudden in love. And I mean I love that movie magic kind of love story, but like watching it now as an adult, I was like kind of cracking up. I was just like, really, they're already gonna get married after like 1.5 dates and stuff? Yeah.
I think it was like the guy, the Soul Glow Air basically was just such a jerk that it made Eddie Murphy just kind of like soar into her heart, you know?
Yeah. I guess also if an arranged marriage is like kind of already there, like that's kind of the whole thing with Eddie Murphy's character as Prince Akeem, like, you know, just he's being forced into an arranged marriage, and that's what makes him go to Queens, New York and stuff. And the fact that her father only wants her to just marry someone who, you know, will be able to take care of her for the rest of her life. Like I guess that's understandable. You always want what's best for your kids and stuff, but like, you know, that guy was not what's best. But I think he's actually one of my favorite characters, the boyfriend in this movie. Just that grease hair and just like that smooth smile he's always making throughout the movie. Like even his final scene when he gets dumped just cracked me up, where he's just like being a little baby, just settles for the sisters, just like, I just got dumped. And then he even breaks the fourth wall too, which is like, well, first let's get you out of these wet clothes. And he just looks at the camera and smiles. I was like, oh my god, I can't with this movie and this character.
He's just a creeper. I wonder if he'll be in the new one. I wonder what the story is. I mean, maybe we shouldn't ask these questions because we're gonna see it next week, basically. So it'll already be out, and we'll be talking about it on fresh releases. So, anyways, moving past what will happen in the long-awaited sequel, The Coming to America. I think one of the things that made this film as enjoyable as it is just Eddie Murphy's character. He just has like such a childlike glee to him. He's always like so happy and can see the bright side of everything, and it really just gave such a sense of wholesome comedy in this fish out of water story. And that's what made this movie so fun, is because when something horrible is happening, like they're getting mugged after they get out of the taxi, and he's like, oh, let these people have all our stuff, we don't need these clothes or jewelry anymore. Just he's so happy all the time, regardless of how bad things are getting.
Yeah, I really like appreciated that aspect. Like this is like fish out of water kind of sequences done right and stuff. Like it's like out of place, but like it's a little bit more realistic at certain times and stuff, and it just makes you appreciate like him just like, you know, settling down and just trying to appreciate normal life and stuff, and like has that good Prince and the Pauper kind of tale of just trying to like, you know, just change your identity just for a little bit, just to get a sense of normalcy and everything. It creates a lot of great moments, and Arsenio Hall I think is a very great sidekick character. He's hilarious throughout it, and like definitely stands out too. Like I haven't seen too many movies with Arsenio Hall, but I know he's been popular for having his own talk show a couple times and stuff. But like, yeah, it's just a really just fun movie that's hard to dislike, and a lot of it still holds up too. Like granted, it's not like one of my favorite comedies of all time, but it's always one that I just always enjoyed as a kid, and whenever it was on TV I'd get excited. This is like the Eddie Murphy for me. Like of course like Shrek was popular when I was a little kid, and I loved that, but if anyone said like, oh, what's your favorite Eddie Murphy movie, I'd always say Coming to America.
Definitely. And there's a ton of movies, Eddie Murphy movies specifically, that I haven't seen, like Vampire from Brooklyn, and movies that maybe we'll check out in the future of this show. But yeah, I have to agree with you. This is probably one of my favorite Eddie Murphy movies. I wouldn't consider Shrek because it's animated, even though, you know, he has a huge part in it. Yeah. But yeah, just after seeing this movie, it's such a fun time. Like I can't really see anyone disliking this movie. I thought a lot of the jokes were very clever and lighthearted, and just it was fairly wholesome fun. So if you haven't seen this movie, guys, I think you should definitely go check it out, because it's a ton of fun. And if you're gonna watch the new Coming to America on Amazon Prime, what better way than to check out the original on Amazon? And you can check that out with our affiliate link in the description box down below.
Yeah, that's a great way to help us out. And another way to help us out is by leaving a comment on our video to let us know what you thought about the movie. Let's keep that convo going. And if you're new, hit that subscription button and click that notification bell to get our latest updates. Another way to help us out also is by smashing that like button. Be sure to do that.
And guys, if you haven't already, we are on all social media platforms. That includes Twitter, TikTok, Instagram. Go follow us there and check us out. And anyways, guys, that concludes this week's episode of Never Have I Ever. Till next week for a brand new video.